Hey everybody, welcome into the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. It is Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. Happy Thursday. All right, no, that's Thursday, Taco Tuesday. I call it.
Taco Tuesday.
Jack, you're here in the studio with me. Nick, you're back at home. How's the remote setup treating you today?
Dude, hopefully the internet holds up. Hopefully this crappy microphone holds up. Only a couple more days till spring training, boys. So just trying to get my affairs in order here.
Jack, how you doing today?
This weather's miserable. That's all I got for you. I'm not usually a weather complainer. I grew up in hockey rinks. This is really bad, though. It's a different level. I want to get out of here.
I'm rubbing off on Jack because I'm a serial weather complainer.
Yes, you are. It has rubbed off on me, too.
Yeah, and because, dude, you hit a certain age where you realize that this just ain't it. Like, I was obviously born in Cleveland. You know, I probably will die here at some point, but God, I'd be lying to you boys if I told you anything other than I haven't been peeking at Zillow listings in Florida these last couple days.
I've been absolutely miserable this past month, and I need baseball to look forward to.
Who doesn't?
I think that's coming around soon. Well, it is coming around soon, but I'm excited for it. Okay, we're going to start with this Bullygate story. Now, do you guys remember when this happened? Like, do you remember hearing it in the news about this scandal, Richie Incognito, the lead ringman of bullying this other offensive lineman, grown man, Jonathan Martin?
This was, we're talking peak, like, mid-off season, Albert Hainsworth trade request. That gets thrown to the side. Bullygate goes to the front of the news stories. And, I mean, let me tell you, the folks at Cartoon Network, too, they were flying out the StopBullyingSpeakUp.com campaigns after this happened. Like, this was a massive news story. And I don't know if that many people our age can really appreciate or remember that it happened. And now this whole development I'm sure we'll talk about here is crazy.
Well, this goes back to 2013 when this all happened. The Dolphins, it was quoted or labeled Bullygate. Basically, Jonathan Martin, another offensive lineman, claims he was a victim of bullying and harassment, particularly from Richie Incognito. Incognito was suspended, and basically, you know, he eventually got released, and he played a couple more years, I believe, with the Buffalo Bills, wasn't able to garner a contract. I think the stigma behind him being a bully was still certainly there in the spotlight. Jonathan Martin got traded. And this all comes out, I guess, just in this last week that Jonathan Martin basically says, no, this whole thing isn't true. I believe the quote was, I never felt at one point I was being bullied. The claims that they had against against Richie Incognito were kind of crazy. They said he made him cough up $125,000 for a team trip in Las Vegas. Jonathan Martin actually checked into a mental hospital because of this controversy, because of the alleged bullying. And now this comes out that he never was bullied, or at least in his mind, the own victim didn't think he was a bully.
Wasn't Pouncey involved in this story at one time too, or is that more so going back to the Dolphins days? Is he not in this anymore?
I saw a tweet from Incognito about it, like making a joke about Mike Pouncey. I don't know if he was totally in it.
This is such a weird story because I don't know the exact details, but I do believe that Richie Incognito is not a guardian angel all the time. I think he's had some other issues throughout his career outside of this, but like, man, I mean, it comes back to like the one day we were talking about like Sean Oakman and how his career was ruined, but it is so sad, and it's a really serious manner when you see these guys' careers just like threatened or thrown away over something that never happened. I mean, I'm sure there's some people out there who would include Trevor Bauer in that line of thinking as well. But it's really sad whenever this kind of thing happens and you see a guy's career just thrown to the wayside over a lie or something that didn't happen.
And this one's weird because it's been decades, you know, since this initially went down. So you know, where was this, you know, 20 years leading up to now? And you guys are right. You know, this was a stigma, and Richie Incognito was no choir boy. You know, he had other things throughout his career that followed him, but this being the main catalyst that set him apart as kind of like a bad boy figure in the NFL that, you know, was a little bit of a, you know, guy with character issues. It was the same, you know, grouping of people like you guys were saying with Pouncey, with Vontaze Burfict. You know, Richie Incognito's name was one that was mentioned in that ilk. So it's kind of just another bizarre layer into what was his bizarre career.
And the worst thing too is like the pictures of them when they were teammates, like clearly just boys hanging out at the bar, like they got their drinks, they're drunk, they got the peace signs up together. Like, it's just funny to see these pictures come to light of like, where the hell were these pictures in 2015 of them hanging out and stuff? Like, I'm sure those had to be out there somewhere, right?
So another level to this, Jonathan Martin, as I said, checked into the mental hospital, and he could have had other mental issues that didn't stem just from this incident.
For sure.
But the way that these articles are written makes it seem as though the majority, at least the center of it, was this Richie Incognito bullying. And I don't remember this, but I'm reading this now. It says Martin, 9 days after the horrific high school shooting in Parkland years back, he posted an image of a gun with the caption, quote, "When you're a bully victim and a coward, your opinions are suicide or revenge." And the reason I'm bringing that up, which is crazy, because if this whole thing was a lie, and I'm not saying he was faking a mental illness, because like I said, he could have had other reasons to be mentally ill, but Richie Incognito is saying that it was Jonathan Martin's mother who organized this whole bullygate.
Yeah, you're right. There's so many elements to it and levels, because if you're looking at it on a base level, if I'm trying to enter the head of someone who would lie in this scenario, I'm thinking maybe I'm a player who, like a Jonte Porter type of player, like you're not really hanging around the league. Like I don't believe Jonathan Martin was a starter at any point in his career. I could be wrong about that. Like you're trying to scrape for whatever, make a couple extra bucks, but you don't do that at the expense of going to a mental institution. You know, that's what really throws me off. Like where it's kind of crazy to think that, how is this a lie? Like, how do you end up in a mental institution when you don't need to be, if you don't want to be? Like, who willingly would do that over a lie? Like, that's pretty far to go to keep something up, no?
Yeah, I don't think that part's fake, the fact that something led him to post that, but he certainly played along with this narrative, and whether his mom was the ultimate, puppeteer, and if Jonathan Martin was seriously ill and she was taking advantage of that, I don't know, but it's just insane that, like I said, now Richie Incognito is on a revenge tour on Twitter. He's on an absolute heater. He's calling out Pro Football Talk, ESPN, Adam Schefter, all these reporters and outlets, and his pinned tweet is him stepping over a Roman gladiator with the quote, "Are you not entertained?"
Nice. I saw a post that said that this whole story was just tailor-made for Mike Florio. Like Mike Florio in this situation gets to stand on his high stool, which is his favorite thing to do, and he also gets to play the victim, which is probably his second favorite thing to do. So this Richie Incognito thing is going to give Mike Florio and Pro Football Talk weeks, if not months, of content, which I love that for Florio this time of year.
All right, we got to take our first break. When we get back, we're talking about baseball. Alex Bregman signs with the Red Sox. Rafael Devers is not having that. He says he refuses to switch his position after the $120 million deal the Sox handed out to Alex Bregman. We'll break that down and more when we come back here on The Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. We're flipping it over to baseball. Alex Bregman news broke. He signs with the Boston Red Sox, $160 million deal, as I mentioned. The problem is he plays third base, and the Red Sox have an all-star in Rafael Devers who says he doesn't want to give up third base. Jack, what do you see from this story?
This is one of the greatest interviews I've ever watched in the history of professional sports. Like when you throw in the Dennis Greens of the world, all the NFL great head coach interviews, this Rafi Devers one is right up there. Like he answers about 3 to 4 questions through his translator about basically saying, he's like, yeah, this is my position. I play third base. Tough shit if he wants to play third base. I play third base. But the best part of the interview was at the very end. They got to the point where they're asking him questions and he was just responding. And even though his first language is Spanish, he ended up just responding in English with the most simple words in the language. No, like if you're a Family Guy fan and you have ever seen Consuela from Family Guy, like if they ask her to do something, she's like, no. She says, no. Yeah, no, exactly. They literally were like, so Rafi, would you play first base? Would you DH maybe? And he just goes, no. Like it's just really funny, but it's weird. I mean, if you go out and sign a star player that plays at the position where you're best player is at already, you kind of invite these things to happen. Like, it's tough because now are you going to have to ask Bregman to play first base or something now? Because Bregman is also, at this stage of his career, still a better defender than Rafi Devers. So it's a very interesting saga to watch unfold, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right, Jack. In fact, last year, Devers finished -9 defensive runs saved and a -2.6 WAR. Bregman, on the other side, had 6 defensive runs saved and a defensive WAR of 8.1. So, yeah, it's particularly not close on the defensive side.
No, it's not. But you also, like, let's not call a ball a strike here. We've had this issue in Cleveland before, and I don't want to call
You're
out
on one with the metaphors today, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I don't want to call out Jose Ramirez. He's my GOAT. He's probably my favorite player of all time in any sport.
You know, bro.
Home run pitch. But Jose Ramirez wouldn't move to second base, and that's why Yandy Diaz is playing on the Tampa Bay Rays right now, not the Cleveland Indians, or Cleveland Guardians, rather. At the time, Cleveland Indians. These things happen where you get these star players who don't want to move off of their position, and they've earned it. Like Jose, no doubt, even at that point in time, had earned third base as long as he wanted it. But you reap what you sow, and when you go out and sign a guy like this who is a third baseman, you're going to have to pay the price and figure out what you have to do, because Rafi ain't moving off third base, it sounds like.
All right, guys, scumbag move from the Red Sox, or is this business? According to Devers, it was definitely discussed when he signed that he would play third base for a long time. Devers said of his spot at third, quote, "I don't know what caused the change, but I know I work nearly hard on defense." Well, apparently Alex Cora and Breslow, they indicated earlier this offseason that Devers would remain at third, but that now has changed since they signed Alex Bregman. Devers said, "It's my decision. My position is third base. Whatever it is they want to do is what they do, but my position is third base."
Yeah,
so what's that mean? If they tell him, "Hey, Rafi, you're playing right field," he's just gonna be like, "Nah."
Yeah,
have you guys?
I don't really feel like it.
Have you guys seen? I think it's in Major League 2, not the first Major League, but there's a scene where Roger Dorn pinch hits, like, who's the part owner in the second movie, and he gets hit in the arm, and Jake Taylor, the manager, wants to pull him, like bring in a pinch runner because he's old and slow, and he won't leave, and they're both just like. They're standing like on top of each other, like stretching out at first base. Like that might be what it looks like at third base for the Red Sox this year. Like you might pull into Fenway Park and see Rafi Devers and Alex Bregman rotating ground balls at third base before the first inning of a game. I don't know if Rafi's going to move off it, Nick.
Yeah, I mean that interview, you're right. It was funny. He was dug in, and like his facial expression didn't change the whole time. He was genuinely mad to even have to discuss it. So yeah, he feels like that's his position. You know, this happens in all different sports. You know, that it happens really every year in the NFL when teams bring in quarterback competitions. Like this happens all the time, but they're going to have to figure that out. We were talking, guys, a couple weeks ago, remember, really a couple days ago, on what team was going to overpay Bregman, and it ends up being the Red Sox, and now they have like a kind of a little bit of a headache on their hands here, it seems. I'm kind of glad that that's not something that we're dealing with here. I'll say that. I hate this kind of stuff.
Definitely, and like for him, Bregman being at his age, I understand taking the years over the higher AAV, like that makes sense to me, but man, with like the direction, and not that I think the Red Sox are going in a very positive direction. They're likely to be a playoff team this year. They have an incredible rotation. Adding Bregman's going to help that lineup with Devers and Casas and stuff. But I don't know. That's just a very odd move to me. Like, why would you not go to the Tigers when they're younger? Yeah. They're probably in the same position, if not better than that team. And the position you play is wide open, and you would have gotten more money. I understand it's less years, but you're Alex Bregman. You've already made $100 million. Like, who cares if you get 140 more or 180 more, you know?
I guess, though, if you were telling me, like, you had to pick between living in Detroit or living in Boston.
Fair.
That's kind of an easy decision to make.
Very fair.
All right, well, not quite the signing that he was, but the Guardians, they signed John Means, who's recovering from Tommy John surgery. He'll report to the Guardians spring training complex today, actually. He had Tommy John surgery last June. He's on a club option for 2026, pending a physical. Jack, what does this guy bring to the ball club?
It's just another one of those guard signings where we're so good at doing the bare minimum of good, if that makes sense. Like, you know that kid you were friends with growing up who like never turned in his homework, never studied, and somehow always got a B on his report card? This is a great move for the Cleveland Guardians with a huge asterisk next to it. John Means has only pitched 40 innings over the last 3 seasons, but when John Means, his whole entire career has been on the actual baseball diamond. He's one of the best pitchers in the sport, undeniably. You get him for $1 million this year. Yes, he's not going to pitch, so it's kind of just like a nominal move of good faith. He's going to get a up to $7 million club option for next season. So really, this is more so a move for next year. But he's a guy who you rarely see lefties who can dominate pitchers on batters on both sides of the plate. He has a really good slider that comes away into the lower right-hand side of the batter's box, and a changeup that does the opposite effect and goes to the left side. So he's effective against both sides of the batter's box, which is a good thing to see as well. But I also like it because if it does work out, and look at Boyd, Lively, obviously we've done well with these pitching machine signings of older guys before. We have not had a stable left-handed pitcher in the starting rotation for as long as I can remember. I don't even know who would go back to. Like, you have 2013, Scott Kazmir gave us a year. You had last year, you had Matthew Boyd. Logan Allen and both Logan Allens and TJ House have tried throughout in between. We haven't had a really solid left-handed starting pitcher in our organization starting for more than 1 year in a row. So maybe after he recovers, John Means could be that guy for a couple years, and I would love it. He's really is a great pitcher, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely
Jack,
seems
that was
like
impressive.
Next year. It seems it was that was a great John Means breakdown, by the way. Like, you're not getting that anywhere else. How do you even top that? You know, it's one though that like I quickly realized once they were even in conversations with him, because this was one that had a little bit of buzz and rumor before he ultimately put pen to paper. You know, that this isn't something that has any meaning towards this year at all. Which is hard for me. Which is always hard for me. To kind of compartmentalize, just because I'm in spring training mode. Like, I'm ready to get out to Arizona here in a couple days. Like, I'm all in on this year guards. Like, I need some time before I start thinking about the 2026 version of what this club looks like. But I mean, I like it. I trust what they do with these arms. Worst case, you're out $1 million. Best case, he's a Boyd, Lively, you know, whatever. And really, it kind of just puts pressure. You look at this year, though, it puts pressure on guys like Logan Allen, guys like Tristan McKenzie, you know, that you got to kind of crap or get off the pot. Like, this is the time to figure it out.
Well, John Means was the AL Rookie of the Year runner-up back in 2019, but has only pitched 52 1/3 innings at the MLB level since the start of 2022 because of 2 separate Tommy John procedures. We got to take a break. When we get back, Shedeur Sanders likes playing with the Browns and Madden. I didn't see that video till this morning, and the Four Nations face-off continues with the Canada-USA finale coming up on Thursday. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan Tyler, Jack O'Rourke, Nick Padone. We're brought to you today, like we are every day, by our great friends at Fairway Ford, Ohio. Fairway Ford is the biggest Ford truck dealership in the state. They have the largest selection of Ford F-150s and Super Duty trucks, and I promise you they will not be beat on price by any other Ford dealers. Do not let a short drive to Canfield, Ohio prevent you from saving thousands, yes, that's thousands, on your new truck. Fairway Ford, the largest inventory of new Ford trucks, lowest pricing, and the same hometown level of service. Visit fairwayfordohio.com. That's fairwayfordohio.com. All right, guys, I just saw this video this morning. I didn't even know what happened last night, but I guess Shedeur Sanders is a big fan of playing the Cleveland Browns in the game Madden. How you guys feeling about that?
I love this so much. I mean, when you talk about Moxie, like you just talked about Fairway Ford, and like when you look at some Fairway Ford merch that we're wearing in the studio, usually they put a big number 1 logo on it because they know they're the best, right? Shedeur Sanders goes out, does this. He knows that Cleveland wants him to be the savior of the city of Cleveland, Ohio, and he is playing into it now every chance he gets. Maybe he knows the writing is on the wall that Cam Ward is going 1-1. I think Shedeur is starting to embrace the city of Cleveland because no one plays with the Browns and Madden.
Let me real quick play the video for those who might not have seen it. This is Shedeur Sanders talking about his favorite team to play with in Madden.
Who do you play with? I don't even play Madden. I can play Madden.
You know who I play with.
Yeah, I can play with anybody though. He can only play with one team.
What team?
Brown.
Okay.
That's the only team.
Okay. I like how they
getting ready.
I like how they move around, bro.
That's the only team he can play with.
That boy getting ready.
Anybody else, he's trash.
I like how they move around on there.
All right, he likes how they move around on there, Nick.
I don't know what that means. I don't know the advanced, football analytics of what that I like how they move around quote means. I'll say this, guys. There's only two people on planet Earth right now today that can get in the way of the Browns finding their, future hopeful franchise quarterback in Shedeur Sanders. That's Andrew Berry himself and new Tennessee Titans general manager Mike Borgonzi. Those are the two people that could screw this thing up. And we've gotten the Deion Sanders stamp of approval. Now Shedeur is saying that he uses the team in Madden. They've warmed up to the idea of Sanders becoming a Cleveland Brown. And there's only two people on the planet that can screw this thing up. If the Tennessee Titans take him number one, if the Tennessee Titans drop to number 3 in a trade with the New York Giants and the Giants pop up to number 1, I personally believe that Shedeur Sanders today would be their number 1 overall selection. But it seems like they have warmed up to the idea of being Cleveland Browns, and there's only two people that could interfere with that at this point.
Whether or not this video was, not artificially, but manufactured, like it was scripted in a way.
It was.
In a way, and it was. But the point remains the same, guys. It's the fact that if Shedeur Sanders didn't want to get drafted by Cleveland, and this was actually a spot where he was willing to, protest getting drafted by, you wouldn't touch that team's name with a 10-foot pole. You wouldn't put yourself along with that image whatsoever.
He would have said he played for every team besides the Browns and Madden, yeah.
And I find it funny, like he was like, which team? He's like, who? Like he wanted him to say what team he knew he was going to say. I thought that was funny.
If you watch that video, like when he's talking about like how they move around, like he's got a little smile to him, like a little.
Oh, he might have a crush on Cleveland.
That's what I was gonna say. Like he had the face of like when your buddy likes a girl. He had that face. He had that the way they move around. Like he loves what Coach Kevin's cooking up. He's meant to be.
He's giddy for the Browns, I think.
He is. I might order the jersey today. I might not even wait.
I'm pumping the brakes on the jersey because there still are two people that can spoil this. But I think his excitement is warranted. And I guess you could look into the quote a little bit about liking how they move around, that this offense, and this is what people that have been in support of Shedeur Sanders have said from Jump Street. This offense, that Kevin Stefanski is going to get back to, that's run heavy, that's play action, that's stand in the pocket and deliver clean footballs. That's when Shedeur Sanders is at his best. So you could look into that quote a little bit and see why he might be excited. This clip definitely was premeditated, though, so I'm personally not going to be one that gets overly excited about this. But this is now the easiest thing that Andrew Berry has had, like in terms of the draft, because you look at, the offensive line situation in 2020, there were 3 or 4 left tackles that could have been in consideration. The Browns had the 10th pick that they used on Jedrick Wills. And then same with the Greg Newsome selection was into the 20s. So that was much more complex as well. This one is right there. And nobody would criticize Andrew Berry if, Shedeur Sanders is the pick and it doesn't pan out. Like, quarterback is the most important position in sports when you have the number 2 overall pick. And that's a position of need in your organization moving forward. It's a no-brainer. It is just a no-brainer.
Could the city and fans, more specifically of Cleveland, handle Andrew Berry trading back down?
No. Not if they want to put asses in seats in this $10 billion stadium. I don't think so.
And Abdul Carter doesn't do it?
That's what it depends on. So, trading down to what?
Let's say 10, 12.
Yeah, like to me, okay, you could do that, and you're getting future draft picks for your replacement. You could enjoy this entire year. You could win 2 or 3 games with James Pierce, who's a great edge rusher, out of Tennessee, or Michael Williams, the edge out of Georgia, and fill a position in need and prep for life after Myles Garrett. But you're going to be preparing, for your replacement. That's waving the white flag. That's, we don't care. We're Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry. We don't care. We're good with getting fired, in my mind.
That's a great. I mean, you're totally right, Nick. You don't trade for draft picks that you're not going to make. That's a classic GM rule. But if they're going to do this, and don't get me wrong, there's some great players. Like, I would love Abdul Carter. But if they're not going to take a Hollywood star quarterback that could give fans hope or something, they need to tear down the Deshaun Watson sign outside of the stadium and put Death March for Arch over top of it, as my good friend Nick Padone would say. Like, you need to make it abundantly clear that you were tanking all the way for the first pick again next year.
What if
and then you need to hope that Arch Manning's good.
Yeah.
Do we know for sure that Arch Manning is good? No.
Yeah,
Do we know for sure that he's coming out in the NFL draft next year? No. We're hopeful of these things, especially if they pass up on a quarterback this year. But there's a lot of things that you need to hope go right next year. So you could strip this thing all the way down to the studs in 2025, like what we kind of think they're going to do in a little mini reload, and then be left at the altar in 2026 when Arch Manning decides he's going back for more NIL money and he's not interested in Cleveland.
So let's go some forward thinking here. Let's say the Browns mess up this draft, which is possible, right? Looking forward to next year, we can stay away from Arch. Another top quarterback, like Nick, Death March for Arch, genius, right? Grant Nussmeier is climbing up boards. He's the guy who's probably going to... Garrett, is that his name? Yes. Same thing. LSU quarterback.
I thought you were going to say Nico
Iamaleava, no, not yet. Do we have a cool nickname for Nuss yet? Is there like a suck for Nuss or anything like that?
Nut for Nuss? No, that doesn't make sense.
No,
you're not allowed to. I don't want to spend $10,000. Nuke for Nuss.
We'll figure it out. We got time.
Yeah, we can work on it. I'm not particularly fond of Mr. Nussmeier.
I mean, Brian Kelly could throw his career in the toilet in the next 12 months. Don't worry. That's still a possibility.
Yeah, it is. Well, you know what? Shedeur Sanders, I'm sure, can't wait to play with himself on the Cleveland Browns. That's a big pause. He can't wait to play as himself on the Cleveland Browns. 4 nations face off. USA. They lose. Doesn't matter why, because they're going to the championship regardless. Take out of those neighbors up north again. Jack, are you worried about having to beat the same team twice in a matter of 1 week?
Oh yeah, I am. Because I mentioned it last show where
oh yeah.
That's more Swedish, I would say, than Canadian. But
are we Swedish now? Didn't they just beat us?
They did beat us, yeah. So I guess we are all Swedish now. But I don't know, man, because I talked about it a couple shows ago. Like, Cale Makar was out, who is one of the best defensemen, is the best defenseman in the world. He plays for Team Canada, and he missed the game. Like, the number 2 defenseman in the world plays for the USA. He's missing the whole tournament. So, like, we're not getting our guy back. They're getting their best player back. We had a couple of big guys sit out with injury concerns last night. The captain of the team, Austin Matthews, who's the best player, arguably the best goal scorer in the NHL right now. So he's probably going to play. You don't know if he's at 100%. Matthew Tkachuk didn't play last night, just like to make sure he was good for the championship.
Who got hurt?
Brady Tkachuk got hurt last night. So his brother got hurt. So that could be an issue. But I don't know, man. I just think so much of it is like the booing and like we basically pulled their underpants down in front of the world and laughed at them on whatever day that was last week, Saturday. They have the best players. Like they probably have 4 of the 5 best players in the world. They're going to come out angry. They're going to come out pissed. They want to get us back. We're definitely going to boo their anthem on Thursday night. They're going to come out really, really heavy. But I don't know, man. They looked good against Finland yesterday. McKinnon, who's one of their best players, scored 2 goals. McDavid was back as well. Had a good game, couple assists and a goal. Crosby finally got on the board for Team Canada, but they kind of leaked oil towards the end. They were up 4-0 on Finland. That ended up being 4-3, then a 5-3 final after an empty netter from Crosby. But I don't know, man. It's going to be tight because we do, at the end of the day, when you look at hockey, the biggest thing is who's the better goalie. We're going to have the better goalie. Connor Hellebuck or Jake Ottinger is better than Jordan Bennington, who the Canadians will play. So that's where it starts, and you build out from there. I still do think we have a really solid defensive core, Ryan, even with Quinn Hughes missing the tournament. So I'm excited to see how our guys do. Looking for Noah Hannafin to pick things up defensively.
Do we know anybody, or do you specifically know anybody Canadian that you'd be willing to make a wager with?
I don't know a ton of people from Canada now.
No?
I mean, the only people I know from Canada are probably hockey players, so no.
Okay. Would you be willing to do a wager? Are you confident in Team USA?
Yeah. What are the odds on this game?
I would bet we're like +2.
Yeah, we're about to find out.
+165. I would bet.
Well, that's why we have phones.
But they, I mean, it's gonna be tight. Like there was, I was reading an article on The Athletic this morning about the game.
USA's a -115 favorite.
Really? That might change as lineups start to come out
Canada's
because we're banged up.
So USA's a bit of a favorite.
It's gonna be tough. Like I was reading an article on The Athletic this morning, and there was multiple players who said this is bigger than a Stanley Cup final game. Like this is a really, really big deal to the sport of hockey in these two countries. Like I still think about I would say the first time I was like truly heartbroken as a sports fan was 2010 Olympics gold medal game overtime. Sidney Crosby ends America. Like that was like one of the saddest moments of my life. I still yet to see us in a best on best get it back on Canada. Man, would this be so cool to do?
All right, Jack. If USA loses, you have to do the Kiki dance.
I'll do that anyways.
Okay.
It's like a Kiki.
Do you love me? In honor of Six God Drake, his home team winning.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But yeah, I'd rather go with the Justin Bieber song though, because I think he's more ingrained in the hockey community, and he's a more true Canadian than Drake. I would say Drake's down in America all the time, man.
Okay.
I also hate Drake's fake Canadian accent. Whenever he does that on songs, really pisses me off.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take one more break. When we get back, wrap this bad boy up. Jack has a gripe with the new TikTok trend. I haven't really seen it. I don't think Nick has either. We'll break that down and more when we get back here on The Big Factor.
Hey folks, in that 1 minute intermission we took, we got some big news breaking out of the four nations in terms of these injuries I was just talking about and who is going to suit up for the United States of America in this gold medal championship game against Canada. So good news for the Canadians, really good news for you guys up there drinking your maple syrup in the morning. Charlie McAvoy, star defenseman for the USA, out for Thursday. Will not be in the lineup. Jake Sanderson, who played this previous game, will be in for the Americans. Oh, they got to be feeling really good right now, right? Because he's playing, or he's not playing. There's rumors about both Tkachuk brothers not playing. I mean, that's the grit. That's the heart of the whole team. That's our physical. That's how we come out and beat their ass last time. Uh-oh, Justin, I got bad news for you, brother. Both Tkachuk brothers have announced they will be playing in the gold medal championship game. Boots to asses are coming. They're coming. They're going to be physical. They're going to bring it for 60 minutes. They might fight your whole team again to start the game. I'm fired up now. Take away everything I just said. We're winning this damn hockey game.
All right. Wow. I'm glad you're confident. His name's Charles McAvoy?
Charlie McAvoy's out, yeah.
Charlie McAvoy. Can you give me an NFL comp? Like if
he's also in the big thing with him is
if this team lost X player.
I mean, it's tough because it's international, so it's like best on best. So it's like saying you would lose, I don't know, like Anthony Edwards off of Team USA against the world. It's kind of hard to compare because they're not their actual teams. But I will say the game's being played in Boston, and he is the best American on the Boston Bruins. So like that's kind of sucks. He's in his like hometown, kind of. So, but it's also we have 9 players on the roster who played college hockey in the Boston area. So it's kind of cool coming into that game to have all those guys back in their home area.
All right, Jack, you have a problem with the TikTok trend.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about it.
So this is the new trend taking over the world. It's all I saw on my For You page, as we all well know. Typically, you're getting some Joshua Block content, some Sidney Thomas, some NHL highlights, some sports hot takes. It's been taken over by this getting a coffee with my younger self trend, Ryan.
Okay.
Play the video here. Can we see that? Is that text too small?
I've seen this trend, by the way.
We have to get copyrighted.
Are we?
I mean...
Oh, on the music? Yeah. Can you read that off? It's too small for me to see. Just give a couple lines in there.
I met my younger self for coffee this morning. She was 30 minutes early. I was exactly on time. She ordered a strawberry frappe. I ordered an iced latte with oat milk. She wore an oversized hoodie and mom jeans. I wore a fitted long sleeve top and mom jeans. She said she was going to be a teacher. Wait, I can't see because that pause button's there. Something about going to the movies. She told me she wants to travel the world. I got to tell her I finally went to Europe. I think I understand the gist. What's the problem you have with it?
I just think it's incredibly stupid. I don't have like a direct inherent problem with it, but just some of the like if you want to do like a self-progress post, by all means, you deserve that. King, queen, whoever, go out there, make your progress, tell the world like that. That's you. You worked hard. I get it, but when we're coming out with like she ordered this coffee, I ordered this coffee. She showed up 30 minutes early. I showed up on time. Sorry to sound like Kanye talking about Lady Gaga with the Polaroids, but what the hell is that supposed to mean? What does that mean? What are we talking about here? What are you talking about?
I'm trying to think of what I would tell if I was to do this trend.
That's what I'm saying. It's like poetry, Jack. You're getting mad at poetry.
I just don't understand. And I get the self-growth part. Include those parts by all means. So what is the I showed up 30 minutes early, I showed up on time? Like, what is that?
Showing how she's developed time skills, you know?
Yeah,
but she regressed in that sense.
Yeah. No. You show up 30 minutes early. You're wasting 30 minutes sitting there waiting for the other person to show up. Show up on time and you're...
Wait. Jack, you might be right. I thought it was... Well, I guess...
You see what I mean, though,
it should have been she was 30 minutes late. I was exactly on time.
No, she's saying she's early.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's what it should have been.
So it's a growth post about how you got worse at timing.
So that specific example was yes. Jack, what would you tell your younger self?
Gosh.
I mean, I don't even know what mine would be.
I would probably... And how old am I at this point in time?
Say right now. You're talking to your 16-year-old self.
16-year-old self. Okay, we are looking at... Jack, in 2021, the Milwaukee Bucks, because that's not a very believable champion. They're going to go out there and win the NBA title. You got to find a way, put the house on it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think about that a lot. Like, if I could go back in time, and I know people who live or have previously lived in Las Vegas, that when the Cavs went down 3-1 in the NBA championship, put a ton of money on the Cavs. I wish I would have done that. Like that's what I would go back and tell my younger self, like bet on the Cavs, wait till they go down 3-1 and then bet Cavs to win the NBA title.
Can I challenge you on this, Nick? Can I challenge you? And it's a great, for what it is, that's a great opinion. I totally agree. Go out there, make your money. But in a way, are you then taking away that you're removing that you didn't know? I think why that finals was so cool is we went down 3-1. Oh my God, it's dead. You come back, you win 3 straight. You're now knowing coming into it that we go down 3-1 and win the finals. I think you're like, that's like taking out the best part of the movie, kind of.
That's fair. Okay,
can money replace that?
Then I would, enough money.
That is true. I thought about that.
And then, or I could just sub it out and just say bet on Tom Brady in every Super Bowl. Bet a lot of money on Tom Brady, and you're going to come up at the end of it.
Yeah, if I could go back in time, I might, stop school shootings, not be greedy, and bet money for my own betterment. Anyways,
I was thinking that, or if I could get to Derrick Rose and tell him don't drive in that lane.
Oh, that might beat it. That might beat it. Wow, that might be number one. All right, Jack, I changed
Tell Trevor Bauer, put down the drone.
Hey, Trevor Bauer, put down your friggin' toys. We're playing in the playoffs right now. Very simple. You're right. Very simple.
If Canada loses, if Canada wins, we don't do the Kiki challenge.
Okay.
You make this TikTok.
Okay.
And you have to be serious. And you put it on your Instagram.
Can I put it on TikTok?
I said Instagram for a reason.
Well, what do I get if we win?
Oh no!
I will give you $5.
I'm not taking that bet.
I'll buy your coffee for a week.
I haven't brought a coffee in once this week.
I'll buy you a Gatorade. Jesus Christ!
You got to up it a little bit, I think. That's embarrassing. That's like an all-time embarrassing post on Instagram.
Nick, Jack, I'm putting it on my story.
Oh yeah, I will be.
Oh, I mean that's the world's gonna see it. Yeah. There's
all right, let's think about it. Okay,
we can think about it, but that's a good start though. I think it's a great start to get a little.
We've got till Thursday.
Maybe we can ask for some suggestions as well.
I mean, I would rather come on the show and you have to give me the whole entire episode to drink a bottle of maple syrup on my side then I would do that.
That's why I addressed it and I offered that. Because I understand it would be a little bit humiliating.
Yeah, but I think there's a ton of humiliating / gross things you can do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for sure. Absolutely. All right. Thanks for Fairway Ford. Thanks to Garage Beer. We got to head out of here. We're back tomorrow. Same people, same time. On Wednesday, if you got any suggestions for Jack, what I guess I would be your reward if they win.
Yeah, or if there's got some good punishments. Yeah, either way.
Or better punishments. I don't know. I think mine's pretty funny. All right. We got to head out here. Everybody have a great day. Peace.